Have you ever felt excited about a new dream and immediately told someone about it? And for a moment, it felt like you already achieved it. But later, the motivation disappeared. Why does that happen? Let me tell you a story. In a quiet town surrounded by hills, there lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was full of ideas. One day, she wanted to become a painter. Another day, she dreamed of writing a book. Sometimes, she wanted to build something extraordinary. But there was one thing she always did. Before starting anything, she told everyone. One morning, she ran to her friends and said, "I'm going to paint the most beautiful picture this town has ever seen." Her friends smiled. "Wow, Mira, you're so talented." She felt happy, important, admired. That night, she imagined her painting hanging in galleries. But the next day, she didn't pick up the brush. A few weeks later, she announced again, "I will write a book, a story that everyone will love." People encouraged her. "You're amazing, Mira." Again, she felt proud. But days passed. The pages stayed blank. This continued for years. Dreams were spoken loudly, but never lived. One evening, Mira sat near a river, watching the water flow silently. An old woman sat beside her. She was known in the town as a master sculptor, but strangely, no one had ever seen her working. The old woman asked, "Why do you look so restless, child?" Mira sighed. "I have so many dreams, but I never complete them." The woman smiled and said, "Come to my workshop tomorrow." The next morning, Mira arrived. Inside the workshop, there were two stones. One was beautifully carved into a stunning statue. The other was just a rough rock. The woman said, "Watch carefully." She pointed to the rough stone and said loudly, "This stone will become my greatest masterpiece." A few people nearby heard her. They praised her. "That will be incredible." The woman nodded, but did nothing. Then she quietly picked up another stone. Without saying a word, she started carving, day after day, slowly, patiently, silently. Weeks passed. The first stone stayed untouched, just a promise, nothing more. But the second stone began to transform. A shape appeared, then details, then beauty. One day, the sculpture was complete. It was breathtaking. People gathered around in awe. "When did you make this?" they asked. The woman looked at Mira and said softly, "While they were listening to my words, I was working in silence." Mira understood. The woman continued, "When you speak your dreams too early, your mind feels rewarded. The praise replaces the effort, and slowly, your fire disappears." Mira felt something change inside her. That day, she made a decision. No more announcements, no more empty promises. She picked one dream, to paint, but this time, she told no one. Every day, she sat alone with her canvas. Some days were hard, some days she doubted herself, but there was no audience, no applause, only effort. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and one day, the painting was complete. She placed it outside her house. People stopped. They stared. They were amazed. "Mira, when did you create this?" She smiled gently. "I was working quietly." From that day on, Mira changed. She stopped announcing. She started doing. Years later, she became known not for her words, but for her work. And the most powerful part, she no longer needed approval, because she had something better. Real achievement. Moral of the story: dreams are like sculptures hidden inside stone. If you talk about them too soon, they remain untouched. But if you work on them quietly, one day, the world will stand in silence and admire.